Since you lost your child, have you ever tried doing something that you once loved, that once brought you joy, but it just doesn't feel the same way that it used to? You're not alone, number one. And in today's episode, I'm going to tell you a story of something that happened to me recently where I really experienced this. And so I did some research and some diving into why. Why does everything feel different after you lose your child? We're going to go over 3 things that I found. And I just want you to walk away from this episode feeling encouraged that you're not alone. It's not all in your head, and able to fully face those moments where it just feels different. I pray this episode blesses you. Welcome to Unlocking Joy After Grief. My name's Courtney, wife, mama of 6 kiddos, one in heaven waiting for us, and that's why I'm here. In 2017, we lost our 4-year-old son, Sam, and it's my joy to share with you everything this journey has taught me. So if you're ready for biblical encouragement, first-hand lessons, and support from a fellow grieving mama, then let's lace up our shoes and begin walking this road together. So before we get into today's episode, I wanted to ask you a question. Are you on my email list? In case you didn't notice, I took a little break over the summer. It was not intentional. I didn't plan on taking a break. It was just summer happened. You know how it is. Schedules and things just kind of get thrown out the window, and there's lots of fun to be had, pools and beaches and family time, all the things. So I took a little break, but my email list, I did not take a break from. I send weekly encouragement, tips, things that I'm personally going through. You get a little peek into my personal life on a week-to-week basis. I actually just added a brand new part to my email where I tell you what I'm loving each week. It'll be different. It can be a podcast I'm watching, a YouTube channel that I'm loving, something new, a new product I found, or something like that. Not necessarily related to grief, so it's something a little different, but I'm really excited to put that in there. Also send a worship song, resources that I've created or that I've found across the internet to help us in our grief journey. I send a Bible verse to encourage you. So I just highly recommend, if you are walking this grief journey, if you've lost your child and you just need that support of someone who knows what you're going through, because there's one thing about losing your child, unless you walk through it, you just really can't understand. And I am a mama who lost my precious 4-year-old son, Sam. And so I know this journey, and I'm excited to bring you weekly encouragement and tips and things I'm learning along the way. So if you're not a part of my email list, highly recommend, because if I take a break, planned or unplanned, on this podcast, I still send out my weekly email every week. So the link to sign up for that will be in the description of this episode. It's super easy. You just put your name and email in, and that'll get you signed up. All right, let's get into today's episode. Okay, so let me tell you my story. I am 8 years into my journey at the time of this recording, and you think I would have experienced all the firsts that are to come in this journey this far in. But this summer, I actually experienced a first. And this is what really made this topic stand out to me and made me do a little bit of research into why things feel different after we lose our child. So to make a long story short, the background of this, I'm just going to give you just a little bit. The church family that we were a part of when we lost Sam, we loved so much. We were a part of that church for 5 years. Before we lost Sam. 2 years after we lost Sam, so 2019, God called us away from that church. And at the time, I really didn't understand why, because we loved the church. We loved the people there. And so I didn't really understand at the time why. Of course, hindsight is 2020, right? So now I see what he was doing. But that was a very long road. We left at 2019, and that road wound around until it finally did lead us back to our church family that we love so much. But that was at 2025. So that was 6 years since we had been in this church. So there was a big gap in the things that we were a part of in that church. And one of those things was our vacation Bible school. We call it Kid Blitz. It lasts for 3 days. We have skits and we have dances and we have games, the normal vacation Bible school type things. And before I lost Sam, every year I was a part of it, I always did what we call the opening number dance. And it's a song that's recorded by our worship pastor. He writes it and records it, and it's all based around the theme every year. This past Vacation Bible School was a circus themed, so it was under the big top. So we did a dance, had clowns and lions and ringmasters and all the costumes. It's so much fun. So this was the first year that I have been able to dance in this Vacation Bible School since 3 weeks after I lost Sam. So back in 2017, I lost Sam on July 1st. Kid Blitz was like 3 weeks after that. The next year, we were still at the church, but I was pregnant with my now 6-year-old daughter, Abby Kate. So, of course, I didn't dance or anything. I was still a part of it, but not in that extent where I did the dances in the opening number and all the other things. And then we left. God called us away. Now we're back. And so this year was the first year that I was a part of Kid Blitz in the way I was right after I lost Sam. So really the last time I had done this, Sam was still here. And so I walked in to the practices and everything naively expecting it to feel the same way. Now I'm 8 years in. You think I would have learned by now that things just don't feel the same way. But I don't know. For some reason, I was just really hoping, I guess, that it would feel the same because I wanted to connect to some part of the old Courtney, some part of who I was before. And I'll talk about this a little bit later too. But of course, it did not feel the same. And it was one of those things that hit me out of nowhere. I was expecting it to feel the same way, and it didn't. And it didn't feel bad. It just felt different. And I was like, why? Why is this? Why do things not feel the same as it did before we lost our child? And so that's what I want to get into. 3 different things that I have found, doing a little research and just things that I just came to the realization of through the help of the Holy Spirit and just my own heart of why things feel different after we lose our child. Okay, so the first thing is grief literally rewires your brain, especially deep grief that we go through when we lose our child. It literally changes who we are. Okay, this is from Psychology Today, and I will link this article in the description of this episode if you want to read it. And the title of the article is, As You Grieve, Your Brain Redraws Its Neural Map. Literally changes your brain. Grief is a biological and emotional transformation, not just something that happens in the heart or mind. The brain and body literally adapt to loss, reorienting emotional thresholds, stress responses, and somatic regulation. Understanding this helps explain why returning to quote-unquote normal activities or passions can feel jarring or alien. You're healing and your brain-body rhythm is still recalibrating. Over time, especially with gentle, intentional support like somatic or trauma-informed therapies, your nervous system can find a new rhythm and you can begin to experience moments of peace or joy again. So not only when we go through deep grief like losing a child, does it shatter our heart, clouds our mind, makes our mind foggy where we can't think, but it literally rewires our brain and our nervous system. That is why it feels different. That's why everything feels different, because we are different. Our brain is different. Our nervous system is different. Everything is different. But I want to highlight something it said at the end there. Over time, your nervous system can find a new rhythm and you can begin to experience moments of peace or joy again. And I can vouch for that statement. Over time, through the help of Jesus, His love, day after day after day, Him not giving up on me, Him not leaving me because it's too hard or it's taken too long. He has been with me every single moment. And He has healed my heart, showing me little bits of His goodness and His kindness. And I actually have an episode all about this. It's one of my favorite ones that I've ever recorded. It's called How Close Is God in Your Grief? 4 Ways He Shows Us He's Near. And I'll link that episode in the description of this episode. You can listen to it when you're done with this. It just talks about different ways that He's with you. And in those moments, it brings healing to your heart. So I'm a testament to the truth of this statement. Over time, your nervous system can find a new rhythm. Now, it's not going to be the same rhythm it was used to before. Your heart's not going to beat the same way. Your brain isn't going to think the same way. It's got to find a new rhythm. Your heart's got to find a new heartbeat. Your mind's got to find a new way to think because you are new. The old you, who you were before you lost your child, it's not there anymore. But the new rhythm, the new you, your new heart, your new brain can experience peace and joy. You will laugh again. You will feel joy again. Will it feel the same way? No, it will not, because we are not the same. But you can feel it. And just because it's different doesn't mean it's bad. Just because it's different doesn't mean you can't enjoy it like you did before. It's just that. It's just different. Which leads me into the second revelation I had in everything that happened to me this summer was you're not the same person anymore. And this can be a hard one, but it's something I wish I would have known, is that the Courtney I was before is not the Courtney I am today. Losing Sam changed me. It changed how I viewed things. It changed how I felt things. Things that used to be important to me weren't important to me anymore. Things that before I maybe would have not cared about suddenly became very important. It's amazing how walking through what we've walked through can completely change the way we view everything. And again, it's not a bad thing. It's just different. And so you need to begin the journey of rediscovering who are you now? Who are you post losing your child? And I actually have an episode about that. It's called Rediscovering Who You Are After Losing Your Child. I'll link that one in the description of this episode as well. If that's something that you really want to dive deeper into, is how do I rediscover who I am? What does that look like? Then that episode I think would be very helpful for you. So you can go listen to that one after this. And that leads me into the last point, which is really the main thing that I want to talk with you about. The main revelation and realization that I got, and it was a hard one, and I'm going to try not to cry. And it's the secondary grief that no one talks about. I have never heard this talked about. I didn't know it was a thing. And I didn't even realize it when I was feeling it. So it was about the second or third practice when it really hit me. This doesn't feel the same. This feels different. This isn't what I thought it was going to be. And I just cried and cried, and I could not explain it. I was like, why am I so upset about this? Because of course, over the past 8 years, I have tried to feel things that I wanted to feel like it used to, and it didn't. So it's not necessarily a new feeling, but this one hit me so hard, and the Holy Spirit revealed to me, and I finally understood what was wrong. why was this hitting me so hard? And it's because I wasn't just grieving the loss of Sam. I was grieving the loss of me. I was grieving the loss of Courtney, the old Courtney, the Courtney before I lost Sam. She's gone. She went away with Sam. When I lost Sam and he left this earth, that Courtney is no longer there. And I realized that in that moment, that the reason I was so upset is because that was my last try to connect with her. I wanted to be her so bad. I wanted to feel what she felt, because what she felt, what she had, was a whole heart. She still had Sam. She didn't have to figure out life with a broken heart. She didn't have to figure out how to keep living without her son. And I wanted to be her. And the reason it was so hard was because I finally realized it. She's gone and I can't get her back. And so I had to allow myself to grieve that Courtney, to grieve her because she's gone. I lost her when I lost Sam. And that is the grief that no one talks about, is losing yourself. For the past 8 years, I've been trying to find her. I've been trying to think of things I used to love before and do them again and try them again. And nothing ever felt right. So I go to the next thing. Well, I used to love doing this. And so I tried that and that didn't feel the same. And so I went through all these things that I used to love doing. And this was the last thing that I could think of that I loved doing. And so when I went into that expecting to feel this is it, I remember even telling my friends, this is the one thing I've been trying to connect with my old self. And this is it. This is it. This is going to be the one thing I can do that will feel this, that'll make me connected with her, that'll feel the same way. And when it didn't, and I finally realized why I was so upset about it, it made sense. I was trying to connect with her because she still had Sam. She hadn't been through the grief that I've gone through, but she's gone. And so what I did is I gave myself permission to grieve losing myself, just like I gave myself permission to grieve losing Sam. But I can tell y'all, that was the most freeing thing that I've ever been through, because I had been striving and trying to be her, to connect with her, to feel her again. And so realizing she's gone, I'm not going to feel her, I'm not going to feel like her again, freed me and allowed me to say, okay, I'm not going to try to connect with her or feel what she felt. That Courtney's gone and I've grieved her. But it's allowed me to say, okay, then who am I now? Because I've asked myself that before, but I really think deep down I was always trying to still connect with her and still, because I wanted to feel what she felt, because she didn't have a broken heart. She hadn't lost her son. And so even though I was like, I know I'm a new person, I was still trying to find things that I used to like doing and all these things. But realizing she's gone has given me the freedom to say, okay, so I'm not going to try to feel her or feel like her. So who am I? Who is the Courtney now? Because the Courtney now is still amazing. The Courtney now can still do amazing things. God has not given up on me. I still have a purpose. Yes, it has changed because I've changed, but the purpose that He has for me is still good, and He still has amazing things in plan for me and in store for me. The purpose that He has for me is still amazing. Just because it's different and I'm different doesn't mean it's bad. Like I said, it's just that. It's just different. So I want this to encourage you. If you have found yourself, like me, trying to connect with who you were before, wanting things to feel like it did before, but you try and time again, it feels different. It doesn't feel like it does before. I really hope this episode encourages you that, number one, that's completely normal. It's normal to not feel things the same way because of the first point that I talked about. We're different. Our brain's different. Our heart's different. Our nervous system is different. Everything is rewired. We just have to find that new rhythm, right? Realizing that we're not the same anymore. Allowing ourselves to grieve who we were. And then all of that will give you the freedom to say, okay, God, who am I now? Who is Courtney now? What purpose do you have for me now? Where's my joy going to be? What are my new hobbies going to be? What am I going to enjoy doing now? Because the old Courtney might not have liked this. New Courtney might really like it. Just like old Courtney used to love reading, new Courtney can't read. New Courtney cannot comprehend words that are written down anymore. And that's okay. Okay, so that was one of the things I had tried to connect, and that didn't work. Okay, well, what does new Courtney like to do now? And so give yourself permission to grieve yourself, your old self, and then give yourself permission to start discovering, start the process of, okay, God, well, who am I now? What do I like now? And there is one thing that I can guarantee you, as your body is like physiologically finding its new rhythm, that's nothing that you have to do. It's your body's just doing it right now. So it's finding its new rhythm. Your nervous system, your heart, your mind, your body is finding this new rhythm. Let's join it and say, okay, we're going to find our new hobbies. We're going to find new things that bring us joy. And there's one thing that I can guarantee you, as all this new stuff is happening and we're finding this new rhythm and new things, there is one thing from your old life that you'll still carry with you, and that is your child. As you're sitting here discovering who you are and finding these new rhythms and this new life that you didn't want. We didn't want this new life. We loved our old life. We didn't want this new one. But I can guarantee you that your child is with you every single step. Jesus is with you every single step. He's as close to you as your next breath. And as you're discovering your new life, your new rhythms, this new person, you're having to figure out who she is. Jesus is with you. He's ready to help you in this rediscovery process. So joy's not gone. Happiness is not gone. Your purpose is not gone. It just looks different because we're different. But it's still beautiful. I'll see you next time. Love you, friend. Hi, Mama. I hope this episode blessed you. If so, would you mind sharing it with a fellow grieving mama who may need some encouragement on her grief journey? Also, please take 30 seconds and leave a rating and a written review wherever you listen to this episode. Reading your reviews brings so much joy to my heart, and I love connecting with you in that way. All right, I'll see you here next Thursday for another episode. Love you, friend.